spearhead this program.
So, uh, a very warm welcome to everyone. Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us for the first session of the day. The title for the session is Gender and Women's Traditions. Um, First, I would like to invite our chair for the session, um, Ms. Vidisha Chakraborty. She is an assistant professor at Amity Institute of English Studies and Research, Amity University, Jharkhand. For her doctoral thesis, she has worked on Bhojpuri wedding songs in the Department of English, Banaras Hindu University. She has done extensive field work and collected over 300 wedding songs. She has published in journals like Indian Literature Sahitya Academy, Dialogue, Lok, Lok Ratna, and Journal of International Women's Studies. She has presented papers in various international and national conferences. Her area of interest includes ritual and performance studies, gender studies, and translation studies. Thank you so much for joining us, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Okay. We shall.
I would like you to take over the session.
Okay. So we'll be talking on women traditions and how expressive traditions create a space for women to express themselves, their different shades of emotions, and in the patriarchal structure, trying to create a space for themselves. So, like before, we can just start. I think. Like, who's the first participant? I think Shivam from Hyderabad. Are you present, Shivam?
Yes, I am here. I am
Okay.
ready to present. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So you are a MA student, department. Okay, you can introduce yourself instead of me doing it. Like, okay.
Okay. I
Yeah.
am Shivam Kumar. I have done my graduation from BHU, and currently I am doing my masters in Center for Comparative Literature in the University of Hyderabad.
Okay. 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 So you may start.
Okay. Just a second. I am sharing my screen.
Yes, it's no problem. Take your time.
Is it visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Yes.
Slideshow is visible in a full screen.
Yeah, it is visible.
Okay. So my topic is articulating subjectivities. The title of my topic is articulating subjectivities, colon women in and Maghi folk songs. So let me introduce. Start from the introduction. This paper deals with the subjectivity of the women expressed in the Maghi folk songs in communities where migration is a widespread phenomenon. Migration to cities for better prospects. This paper tries to understand how women from this community articulate their subjectivities and their lived experiences, and how the larger socio-cultural and political events shape their experiences. These songs are studies as a socio-cultural response to the problems and responsibilities these women are faced with. By functioning as a symbolic autobiography, folklore offers an invaluable tool for understanding a society from within. It reveals the underlying cultural narratives, anxieties, and aspirations that traditional narratives encode. Thus, being an insider in the community, I have studied Maghi folk songs from an inside-out perspective. These are my research questions. How folk songs become the medium of articulating desire and longing among women in Maghi culture? How do women situate themselves within the larger socio-political milieu through these folk songs that represent the everyday practices of Maghi language culture? How do these songs offer insights into the cultural practices performed by women as a response to migration of the male members of the community? How can analyzing Maghi folk songs by women inform our understanding of the socio-economic factors driving migration in the region? How can we study the shift in the nature of this longing and desire as expressed through the songs of Yo over a period of time? Uh, Brief introduction of Maghi language or dialect. Maghi is an Indo-Aryan language. C.L. Khatri writes that Maghi is the occurrence of the Maghi or Maghi Prakrit language that flourished from the 8th to 12th centuries, and Sarapa was the first major poet. Maghi is the second official language of Jharkhand and is also spoken in some parts of Odisha and West Bengal. Grierson considers Maghi under the Bihari language along with Bhojpuri and Maithili and says that though Maghi and Bhojpuri have not produced major poets, these people contain plenty of diverse songs. According to the census of 2001, approx 20 million people speak Maghi. This is the map of Bihar, and we can see in Bihar, four languages are spoken, 5, that is Bhojpuri, Maghi, Angika, Maithili, and Bazika. And in southern Bihar, southern part of the Bihar, where Maghi is spoken in the in approx 8 to 9 districts. So, Maghi folk songs. These songs are part and parcel of the everyday life of the people. These folk songs have become an indispensable part of their life, and it is assimilated so well in day-to-day lives that in every aspect of daily activities they are sung, whether during the grinding, making potato chips or papad. Folklore is not only dances, songs, tales, and legends, but also the daily life of the people. It incorporates their traditions, customs, work, thoughts, ideas, joys, and sorrow. Most of the songs are participatory in nature. In every genre of Maghi folk songs, the theme of migration is oft repeated. A scholarship on migration does not fully appreciate its impact on finer gendered spatial scales like body or household. On the other hand, women's folk songs bring them to the center stage. Migration, which has been a serious issue since centuries, the state has a long history of migration, and the earliest migration stream can be traced to the 1830s when people from Bihar migrated as indentured laborers to the British colonies of Mauritius, Guyana, Trinidad, and Fiji. Kolkata was the colonial capital of India under British rule. It was the industrial hub and center of commerce and trade due to the port city developed by the Britishers. Kolkata was the main destination for people from Bihar during the colonial period who migrated to work in the factory as laborers. The reference to the city of Kolkata comes time and again in the Maghi folk songs, and we can see here is a line from the Maghi folk songs: "Bhore jaib kal katwa soon hot se jiya." After you go to Kolkata at the dawn, bed will be companionless. So, impact of migration on women. Women left behind by male migrants often face a difficult period marked by increased burden and emotional strain. Women contemplating male migration in their families often fear the emotional and legal consequences of marital disruptions such as divorce and abandonment. Ramnath Singh's 1989 case study of Khatuna block in Madhubani, Bihar, explores the impact of outmigration. The study finds that outmigration acts as a catalyst for social change, transforming both social structure and attitudes. However, it also highlights a negative consequence, a rise in extramarital affairs among male migrants within urban environments. Gulati highlights the multifaceted challenges faced by women in the absence of their husbands due to migration. These women not only grapple with the emotional strain of separation, but also shoulder the burden of managing households, caring for children, and potentially navigating a strained relationship with in-laws. So this is folk songs, which is categorized as a humor. I have roughly translated it in English. It's like अरे जइहे आरा जइहे सिकरी लई हैं सौतनिया मत लई हैं ये बलमुआ सौती नहीं है सिकरी पहनिए करेजबा मोर वीरे रे बलमुआ. So go to Ara, bring necklace, don't come up with a co-wife, oh dear. If co-wife comes, wear necklace, mine heart is splitting, oh dear. So here we can see the anxiety and the fear of bringing the co-wife is evident in the folk songs that I have talked, that I just talked. Classification of Maghi folk songs. Though it is difficult to classify any folk songs, but C.L. Khatri in his work, Kaleidoscope, Maghi folk songs as a kaleidoscope of life, categorize it in these forms, region-based, that is rural, urban, and forest songs, caste and craft-based songs, songs of palanquin bearers, fishermen, herdsmen, weavers, hawkers, vendors, etc. Is voice, childhood, adulthood, and old age songs, male and female songs like Birha. Birha is predominantly male folk songs. Domkaj is sung by the women. Ritual and seasonal songs, Vidai, Sanskar, Chaita, Fag, Purvi, Kajri. Stallion form-based songs, Champiya, Maina, Remal, etc. This is the song from Brahmasa. The feature of the Brahmasa is that it contains all the 12 months of the as per the Hindu calendar. It contains all the 12 months. Here we can see Mas, Asad, Gagan, Ghan, Garze, Saban, Fulat, Davanma ho Ram, Bhado, Raini, Bhyavan lage, Anganma lage, Videswa ho Ram, Asin, Mas, Ritu, Sarat, Chandni, Kartik, Varat, Devanma ho Ram, अघन मास हमिनिक ना लागे सखी सब चलन गवनमा हो राम पूस महीना तन पाला सताबे माघ में रहली अगनमा हो राम फागुन फाग खेलब केकरा संग आस नहीं पिया के अवनमा हो राम चैत मास बन टेसु फूले बैसाख में गरम पवनमा हो राम जेठ महीना तन सुखद घामा बीत जाए पूरा महीना हो राम. So this is a song which contains all the 12 months, and every month is has own challenges, and it also gives us an ecological records in which months what is happening, which flowers is blossoming, what is the weather at the time, and it also we can see that the man is outside, and here the protagonist is longing for his husband, for her husband, and she said that she says that Fag Khelav Kekra Sang As Nahi Piya Ke Avanma Ho Ram, with whom will play Fagun's march holy. There is no hope for the beloved returns, O Ram. So this is the Chaita song. Chaita song comes under the seasonal song, come under the category of seasonal songs, and also it is predominantly sung by the man, but also sung by the women. And there are some songs in which there is articulation of the woman, but men also sing as a first person feminine. And so we can see the song Hari Mora Gelan Madhuvanma Ho Ram Chaita Re Mase Bole Koelia Sab Kunjanma Ho Ram Chaita Re Mase Rama Birhi Papiha Bole Adratiya Ho Rama Chaita Re Mase Ram Piya Nahi Elan Barsat Nayanma Ho Rama Chaita Re Mase. So here again it is the longing for the husband. And yesterday, Rajat Nair was saying about the nature of the folk songs, how the folk is so connected with the nature. And here we can see that the singing of koel, singing of birhi, and singing of papiha, it also and according to the affiliations, the voice of koel is associated with the karun rasa. And here we can see that the longing for the husband of a woman is how koel and birhi and papiha is also helping in articulating in their voice, and they can relate. They are relating with the voice of the koel, birha, and papiha. This is another song during the World War. Basically, migrants happen for the better prospects. Migration happens for the better prospect, but there are some migrations due to some socio-political scenario or socio-political order also. This is the time when Britishers were ruling, and and then World War happened around 1914 to 18, and many Indian soldiers were compelled to fight against Germany and their allies. So this is the song ऊपर उड़ेला जहाज नीचे गोली के आवाज पिया चलल जहां जर्मनी के लड़ाई में हाय रे समलिया हम तो चिट्ठिया लिखवे मैं तो डाको में लगवेवे पिया के बोलेवे चिट्ठिया लिख के हाय रे समलिया पिया रंडी लेके बुला है बजरिया हाय रे समलिया. So we can see that how this is the situation of World War, and her husband is going Germany for the battle, and she is saying that I will call him by writing letter, and but eventually the husband come, and the husband, after coming, wife is not happy. She is again in sorrow because his husband is not paying attention to her. She is roaming with the mistress in the market. This is the Kajri song. Kajri is playful in context. It is sung in the month of rainy season, especially in August or September. आयल सावन के बहार पिया आए ना हमारे रिमझिम बरसे कारी रे बदरिया ना पिया छाए परदेश लिखी भेजे ना संदेश मोहि के याद आवे पिया के सूरतिया ना. So here again, this form of the song change, but the longing is again the same. So that's why I said in the earlier, uh, the theme of the migration is oft repeated in the Maghi folk songs. It comes time and again in every type of folk songs. This Savant's splendor has arrived. Beloved has not come yet. Dark clouds are drizzling. Peter Petter. Beloved is abroad. Don't send the letter. I miss my beloved's face. So here, dark cloud is again is the symbol of the hard, difficult time, and the raining of and the drizzling of rain is like her tears is coming. It resembles the protagonist's tears. So impact of the shift in the socio-cultural political scenario. So one of the key features of folklore is that it continuously being updated and invented, and therefore folklore involves innovation and consequently individual initiatives. In Maghi folk songs, we can trace the changes and innovations that happen due to the shift in the socio-political, socio-cultural, and socio-economic order. So here, this is another folk songs. This shows how when the socio-political scenario, cultural scenario happened, how folklore adapts it and assimilate it, and it becomes the voice of the folk. So now this is we can see the impact of the modernity, aspirational modernity, and especially in the age of consumerism, when age of technology, when communications is becomes a smooth, transportation has become smooth, it becomes easy. Now people earlier, as we have seen in the previous folk songs, that there was no only the means of communication was letter, and it used to take time. But now with the advent of technology, now we have access to mobile phone, and transportation has also become fast and smooth. So now the women are happy with the husbands to go, and they said that Delhi भी जाना सजनवा, साड़ी भी लाना बसंती, साड़ी भी लाना, जम्फर भी लाना, एक चीज लाना सुरम्मा. Go to the Delhi street for fetch the sari basanti, along with the sari fetch the blouse and also the antimony. So here in this song we can see that with the change of the socio-political orders, here woman is not lamenting. Here the protagonist is not lamenting. Rather he says that go outside and earn money and bring the certain things or fulfill the certain demands. Because now we can see that transportation now now the women can talk with their husbands on the phone, on the video call and all. Here is another song, केरे जइहे हाजीपुर से, केरे जइहे पटना से, केरे जइहे ना कलकत्ता नौकरिया, ससुर जइहे हाजीपुर से, भैंसुर जइहे पटना से, सैया जइहे ना कलकत्ता नौकरी, ससुर लइहे रेडियो से, भैंसुर लइहे ग्रामोफोन से, सैया लइहे ना सिनेमा वाला गनमा, दूरा लागे रेडियो और सरवा लागे ग्रामोफोन से, जिया लागे ना सिनेमा वाला गन. So here we can see that the woman, the protagonist, is saying that to bring the certain things, he's aspiring for certain things, radio, gramophone, cinema songs, and how the folk songs has assimilated all these things. In conclusion, through analysis of folk songs, we can gain epistemic access to the cultural practices and values of a society. Folk songs function as epistemological tools, enabling researchers to understand the cultural landscape of a society and its people. Folklore extends beyond the purely literary, functioning as a repository of a sociological and historical information that illuminates the social structures and historical experiences of a culture. These are the works that I have cited for my paper. Thank you.
Okay, Shivam, this was a wonderful presentation. Are we open for questions, or we are going to take it at the end?
We can take it up at the end when all the presentations are done.
Okay. So then our next participant is Prachi. She is from Dr. B.R. Ambedkar University, Delhi. Is Prachi there? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you can start your presentation.
Let me just share my screen. Let me know if it's visible enough.
Yeah, it's visible.
Yes, it's visible.
It is? Okay.
Yeah, it is visible.
So my name is Prachi. The title of my paper is Exploring Performativity, Subject Creation and Resistance Through the Narratives of the Vrat Kathas, Voices of Baniya Women from Delhi. I will start with the introduction. Am I audible enough?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Indian folklore is an intriguing mosaic of numerous cultures, customs, myths, and tales that have been passed down through the ages, primarily through oral tradition. The study investigates one of the subsets of this oral storytelling tradition, that is the Vrat Kathas. Vrat Kathas, which is essentially a narrative that describes the relevance of fasts and corresponding performative rituals, which must be undertaken and performed for their successful completion. As Jasbir Jain rightly points out, the embedded narrative in Vrat Kathas is like a contract, which, if violated, may lead to unpleasant consequences, and if observed meticulously, may lead to reward and fulfillment. While practices, rituals, and deities may differ, the contract is not a variable contract. One of the objectives of my work is to understand if the performance and observance of Vrat Kathas necessarily create women as patriarchal agents as well as victims. These Vrat Kathas are narrated, retold, and repeated over years in a space that is exclusively marked by the female presence. The second objective is to explore how Baniya women attribute and derive various meanings from these Vrat Kathas based on their experience and perspectives as women. The subject matter of these Vrat Kathas clearly privileges the men in the family and further interpellates women into associating fasting with the values of auspiciousness and saubhagya associated with their marital status and motherhood. This study employed the use of primarily data collection method of participant observation and interviews. These interviews were semi-structured and open-ended. These interviews were primarily conducted with 4 women in 4 sittings of about 1 hour each with every respondent. The ethics of research was strictly kept in consideration while conducting the study. This includes the informed consent of the women participants regarding the recording of the interviews. This also includes the maintenance of confidentiality of the respondents' details in all parts of the documentation and analysis of the study. I will very briefly just touch upon some of the insights from literature. In her book, Gender Trouble, Judith Butler problematizes the very constitution of the category of woman. She has pointed out that gender is a continual process that is socially formed and is carried out through a succession of performative activities. Therefore, performativity is the act of subject formation that produces what it claims to represent through linguistic as well as other social processes. The understanding of the categories of man and woman as natural gender boundaries is decentralized by Butler, which reiterates Bouvier's assertion that one is not born a woman but rather becomes one. She has also pointed out that there is neither an essence that gender expresses or externalizes, nor an objective ideal to which gender aspires, because gender is not a fact. The various acts of gender create the idea of gender, and without those acts, there would be no gender at all. I will now start with the thematic analysis. The first point that I would be discussing is the performance of gender. So Butler discusses that when the gendered self abides by a heteronormative structure through repeated performative acts, it leads to the creation and organization of a stable gendered core. This illusion of a gendered core, in turn, leads to the production of the truth effects, which are in accordance with the discourse of a heteronormative society. Now, the naturalization of the gendered self through its repetitive imitation can be seen in the responses of the Baniya women too. Example, when asked why do they think that it is women who generally follow and observe vrats, Meena, one of the respondents, replied, शुरू से यही देखते आ रहे हैं कि औरतें व्रत रखती है और फिर पार्वती ने भी तो व्रत रखा था शिव को पाने के लिए, तो हम तो रख ही सकते हैं फिर. और फिर ये भी तो है कि औरतों में सहन शक्ति भी तो ज्यादा होती है आदमी लोगों से. Should I roughly translate it as well? Okay.
Yeah.
The
Notice.
okay, the rough translation would be, because from the beginning, we have been seeing it is only women that keep these fasts. And then Parvati had also kept a fast in order to get God Shiva. So we can certainly keep these vrats. Also, women have more stamina than men. Another respondent, Akshara, when asked the same question, responded, जब पत्नी व्रत रखती है तो उसका आधा पुण्य पति को मिलता है, लेकिन जब पति व्रत रखते हैं तो उनका पूरा पुण्य उन्हीं को मिलता है। तो ये फर्क तो फिर भगवान ने ही बनाया है। सीता को देख लो, वो 14 वर्ष दूर रही तो उन्हें अग्नि परीक्षा देनी पड़ी, लेकिन भगवान राम भी तो दूर रहे, उनकी परीक्षा तो किसी ने नहीं ली। तो ये फर्क पहले से ही है। औरतें इसलिए व्रत रखती हैं क्योंकि सहन शक्ति ज्यादा है, जेंट्स से भूख बर्दाश्त नहीं होती, और वो थोड़े अग्रेसिव टाइप के भी होते हैं। रफली ट्रांसलेटेड टू, when wives keep these vrats, they only get half of the benefit as the other half goes to the husband. But when men keep vrats, they get the full benefit. So this difference has been made by God only. Okay. Yeah. Look at goddess Sita. When she had to stay away from Ram for 14 years, she had to go through fire, but God Rama had also stayed away from her. Nobody asked him to go through any ordeal. So this difference exists from the beginning. Women keep these vrats because they have more stamina. Gents can't control their hunger since they are aggressive by nature. Through the responses of both these women, it can be seen that the gender roles designed for the category of women have been essentialized and internalized to such an extent that the performance of this role becomes the basis of the identity itself. As a result, the discourse around gender becomes such that the understanding that women have more capacity to tolerate more than men becomes a truth effect that is conducive to the maintenance of a heteropatriarchal social order. The mythological characters of goddesses like Sita and Parvati becomes the ideal archetype that these women aspire to follow. The very character of these goddesses is fashioned in accordance with the normative idea of gender, which glorifies the sacrifices of women, making it an essentialist character trait to be followed while performing the role of a good wife or a good mother. The next point I would be covering if there are any possibilities of resistance. So, Butler emphasizes that one of the possibilities through which the abiding gender cell can break free lies in the possibility of a failure to repeat, so as to expose gender as a performative act where performative suggests a dramatic and a contingent construction of meaning. This rupture in the imitation process was observed when one of the interviewees, Anushka, responded with how she doesn't believe in the idea of impurity associated with the menstruation process, despite watching her mother and mother in law not touching anything religious during periods. Her refusal to perform and observe vrats in exactly the same way as her mother opens up the possibilities where resignification in the performance of gender roles become plausible. Similarly, Ahoy Ashtami is a vrat that is kept for the long lives of sons and for their overall well-being. However, the four Banya women that I interviewed kept this vrat for both their daughters as well as sons, thus attributing different layers of meaning to the performance of these vrat kathas. When asked if this vrat katha should be continued for the successive generations, Akshara, one of the respondents, replied, देखो व्रत कथा की परंपरा फ्लेक्सिबल होनी चाहिए। अगर नहीं करना तो ऐसी फाउंडेशन नहीं होनी चाहिए। कंफर्टेबल होना जरूरी है, इसलिए मत करो क्योंकि देखते आए हैं। अगर श्रद्धा है तभी करो। भगवान ये नहीं कहता कि व्रत रखोगे तो ही आप मेरे अंदर आस्था रखते हो। Roughly translated to, see, the tradition of Vrat Katha should be flexible. It should not be followed because it is a foundation. It is necessary to be comfortable, so don't do it because you have been seeing it performed. If you have faith, then only do it. God does not say that if you will keep fast, only then it is a proof that you will have faith in me. Two things are further cemented by this response. A feeling of doubt can be seen regarding the religious ideals and the blind obedience it demands from its subjects. Second, there is a certain agency in exercising the freedom to re-signify and attribute meanings to these traditions by successive generations. the third point that I would be shedding light on would be the subject matter of the Vrat Kathas. So Judith Butler talks about the idea of language, where language as a system sustains the body of an individual by interpolating it within the terms of language so that a certain social existence of the body becomes possible. The language of these Vrat Kathas highly subscribes to the signifying structures of a phallocentric language. For example, every stories in the Vrat Kathas that I'm observing starts with एक साहूकार और साहूकरनी थे जिनके 7 बेटे और बहुएं थी. Roughly translated to, there was a moneylender and his wife who had 7 sons and daughter-in-law. The very structure of these sentence brings to focus the class of the community, the celebration of male children, and the absence of any female children. This reinforces the gendered assumption that a woman's status is elevated and her position in the family is respected, with the sons she gives birth to as more number of sons corresponding to more reverence and security. This understanding is perpetuated through such linguistic formulations. I will now conclude my paper. So this paper attempted to critically analyze how gender is an act that leads to subject creation, and only through the interventions in such performative acts one can recontextualize its understanding, which might adhere to or deviate from the normative. The Vrat Kathas play a significant role in organizing such gender roles among the Banya community, and it is through the close understanding of such organization that one can better understand the possibilities of transgression within the system of patriarchy at large. Thank you.
Good work, Prachi. I liked your presentation.
Thank you.
Okay, we can have the next participant. Our next participant is Sweety. She's a research scholar at Panjab University, Chandigarh. Is she present?
Yes, ma'am, I'm
Okay.
here. I'm just present. I'm cleaning the PPT.
Okay.
You can let us know if you need any help with the presentation.
I need a help because my window, my computer is not. It's not leading to my computer. It's leading to some of the windows in the Google app.
Okay.
So what am I supposed to do? I have some videos to present, so that's why I cannot share the PPT in the WhatsApp group. I'm so sorry for that.
Okay. So, can you email the presentation, your PPT?
There are video links which cannot come. Like it's a very big
Okay.
file.
Then how do we figure it out? I would request the technical volunteers to help her out.
Can we move to the next presentation so that I can
Yeah,
just
sure.
you can-
Yeah, you can
I'll just come back.
coordinate with the volunteers and they can help you out with this.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, can you send it to me? And meanwhile, we can have the next presentation.
Yeah. I'll try.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
So our next participant is Arundhathi. She's a student of MA English and Cultural Studies at Christ University, Bangalore. Okay. Arundhathi, you'll start?
Yes.
Okay.
Is it visible?
Yeah, it's visible.
So my topic is Femme, Fatale and Divinization in the Yakshi tales of Kerala with reference to the tale of Panayannarkavu Yakshi. So before beginning, I would like to say that this is an ongoing paper. So I am almost done with the data collection, and I am in the process of analysis. So to give an introduction to the topic, so while placing Yakshi in the religious history of India, we can see the origin of the figure of Yakshi in Buddhism, Jainism, and Hinduism. And in these religions, Yakshi is like portrayed as nature spirits. And if we look at the sculptures and images of the figure of Yakshi, we can see that it conforms to a typical standard of beauty, or they are very sexual in nature as well. And this sexuality can be ascribed to the fact that Yakshis are considered in these religions as the goddesses of fertility. So there are like mischievous or mischievous Yakshis, as well as calm and composed Yakshis as well. So these calm and composed Yakshis are the ones who are generally worshipped as such, and like tutelary deities, like guardian deities as such. So, but coming into the context of Kerala, we can see that the trope of Yakshi has taken a very different turn. Like in the context of Kerala, Yakshi does not conform to a particular religion as such. Even if we look at popular culture or folk culture, we can see that it is like more represented as a femme fatale figure. So femme fatale, as we know, are like generally called a name called for women who like are openly sexual, or like uses their sexuality for gaining something, or for distraction or something. So in Kerala, we can see the Yakshi figure as a woman who wanders around at night, seducing men, and then later drinking their blood. So this is a common trope of Yakshi in Kerala. So the myth of Panayannarkavu Yakshi that I am focusing on, I'll just briefly like describe the thread of the tale. So there was this girl who was accused of her nymphomania, or of being obsessed with sex, and thus she was punished or cursed to be a Yakshi. So she then caused nuisance around a specific area in the Trivandrum district of Kerala. And so she was like seducing men at night, and then like killing them later, and so on. So this was reported to a priest, a Christian priest of Kerala, that's Kadamakkathu Kathanar. And this priest like tamed the Yakshi using an iron nail, hammering an iron nail onto her head. And she was taken as a maid on one of the households of this priest relatives. So one day, the iron nail that was on her head was removed by accident, and the Yakshi took her form, real form, and then the Yakshi escaped to Panayannarkavu. Panayannarkavu, that is the region in the Alappuzha district of Kerala. So this Kathanar, that's the priest, chased this Yakshi, and the Yakshi perched herself onto a pana, or a palm tree, in the Panayannarkavu region, and she was praying to the Devi, or the main deity of the Panayannarkavu temple. So Kathanar put like put a truce in front of her that if she will behave, then she'll be worshipped at the temple. And the Devi, the main deity of the temple, also said she will accept this Yakshi as her servant. So this, and then she was like made a deity, and she is now worshipped as Yakshi Amma, as you can see here. This is a shrine of Yakshi Amma at the Panayannarkavu temple. So this is the kavu, or the sacred grove in the temple, and this is a pana, or palm tree. So Panayannarkavu temple, there's like pana Panayannarkavu means 6 into 8 in Malayalam. So there was 48 palm trees there. So that's how the name came. This is the river that the Yakshi crossed to reach the Panayannarkavu region. And these are the offerings made to the Yakshi Amma. So these are black bangles and black silk. So these are made to Yakshi Amma so that the family of the person who has made the offerings will be like devoid of any nuisances or disturbances from Yakshis or any other supernatural beings. So these are my research questions. How does the legend of Panayannarkavu Yakshi bring forth the perception about female sexuality and freedom that prevailed in the medieval Kerala? What role does the element of fear in the male psyche and religion play in the worship of the Yakshi figure? And how does the popular culture and other cultural factors affect the variations of the narratives of the legend? So my method is mainly ethnographic interview. So I have interviewed quite a few people around the specific temple, Panayannarkavu temple, and also the family members of those who established the temple, and the successors of people who were into the magic, black magic, and who wrote pamphlets about the Yakshi and so on. And I've also looked into some primary texts such as Aitihya that is a collection of the mythologies, like folk tales of Kerala. And I have also interviewed some prominent writers. So in methodology, I've used a few theories. Like first theory I'm using is Carl Jung's collective unconscious. So collective unconscious is that the idea that a segment of the deepest unconscious mind is inherited and are not shaped by personal experience. So basically the collective instincts of a society or the phobias of a society. And then I am using feminist theory, Western theories, as well as feminist readings of Indian tales as well. And I'm using E.B. Taylor's cultural evolutionary theory. Yeah, so cultural evolutionary theory, that is, he proposed that a culture, how it evolves from a savagery to a how it is elevated to a more modern, or like that. So and I'm using apotheosis, that is the elevation of an entity into a divine figure. So sorry. So in the analysis part, first I talk about the mother figure. So in the tale of Panayannarkavu Yakshi, as I said, like towards the end of the tale, we can see that the wild Yakshi is now turned into an asexual mother figure and worshipped. So like what is the origin of this concept of mother figure? So we can see that like in Malayalam, there is, in the Malayalam dictionary, if we look, there is this word kshetram, that means temple, which is defined as a place for storing grains, and also it is also defined as the body of wife or sexual partner. So women were usually associated with like fertility, or they were elevated into like a stage of goddess, fertility goddess as such. So generally this aspect of mother figure draws a parallel with mother nature too. So this mother nature can be like destructive as well as protective. So there are two aspects to, like two phases of the mother figure. But then looking at the tale of Panayannarkavu Yakshi, we can see that the Panayannarkavu Yakshi is not worshipped as an Ugramurti, or not worshipped as a violent deity, but then she is like a calm and composed deity. She is made into a calm and composed deity. So, looking at the aspect of collective unconscious by Carl Jung relates many Indian beliefs such as rebirth to collective unconscious, and even when conscious mind rejects the myths, but this idea enters the unconscious mind. So thus a society's collective fears thus turns into a cultural fascination that can be reflected in this tale of Yakshi too. So this fascination of the other has developed from a very early stage. So here I bring in the concept of Freudian concepts such as the Oedipus complex, so which is further explained by Carl Jung. So if we look at references of Oedipus complex in the Indian context, we can see that in many myths, sons who are punished for their sexual advances by the mother figure or by any other means as such. So this can be seen in the sacrifice that is offered to mother figures or deities as such. Like it is usually men who are sacrificed in front of the male, the mother figures. So there is the symbolism here. And so this aspect of the other, like viewing the female as the other, or the unknown aspect of the female sexuality has increased this fear and fascination. And if we take any religion, we can see that its roots lie in the fear for the unknown, right? So here also we can see that, and the myth of Yakshi has its roots in the castration fears of the patriarchal psyche, where men internalize these fears of the patriarchal mind and then channelize it towards the agency like Yakshi. And while looking at the archetype, Carl Jung's archetype anima, we can see that anima is a contra-sexuality of men that is feminine in nature. So an anima is essentially the feminine nature that is inherent in a man, you can say. So and animus is the inherent masculine nature in a woman. So further explaining this, animus is woman's rational functions, while anima is man's irrational function. So in a man, his contra-sexuality is feminine and governs his irrational feelings functions, and we call this the anima. So this can be used as a justification for like being seduced by this Yakshi. For example, like this anima is like, as I said, it is an irrational function of the male, right? So it is a feminine nature, or it is considered as a sensitive nature of a man. So this as it is like a very beautiful concept, as well as it has another side also, like that is which is present in the Yakshi tale. That is how a man is seduced by this Yakshi. So this is like anima is like a justification of why a man is thinking irrationally while like being seduced or giving in to the like sexuality of Yakshis. So as I mentioned earlier, the Panayannarkavu Yakshi turned into a Yakshi because she was accused of being a nymphomaniac. So nymphs are Greek mythological figures who enjoyed sexual freedom and stood outside the framework of patriarchy. So this name nymph is used to like refer to women who are like who make sexual advances and who are overtly sexual and frivolous in nature. So we use the term nymphomaniac. So this figure of a nymphomaniac Yakshi is usually used as an antithetical figure to explain why a woman should not be like, should like control her sexuality, and how an ideal domesticated woman should be. And looking at the aspect of chastity, we can say that chastity is glorified in Vedas and Manusmritis, etc. While we can see that there are rebellious female characters in the folk culture. Like in Vedas also, like in Puranas, we can see certain rebellious characters like Shurpanaka, Ahalya, etc., who like made sexual advancements, but they were punished like as such. And also there is a trope of restoring the virginity. Like if a woman loses her virginity not because of her fault, then like to cover up the scenario, we can see that virginity being restored in many tales. So ways of escape. So how can a man escape the clutches of this Yakshi figure? So if we look at the tales of Yakshi in Kerala, we can see that in most of them, while Yakshi confronts the man, if he has a Devi Mahatmyam or a book of prayers of Devi, then Yakshi will not come near the man. And this can also be seen in this Panayannarkavu Yakshi's tale. Like Yakshi is praying to the Devi, or like a much elite goddess, or a much well behaved, or the socially accepted goddess as such. So, and another thing is that the men who cannot escape are the ones who cannot satisfy the sexual needs of the Yakshi. That is another trope in the Yakshi tales. So this itself is an example of how the fear of female sexuality is reflected in the Yakshi tale. So the concept of
I'm sorry to interrupt, but you are, we're running out of time. Please conclude.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So can you tell me how much time I have?
You can take 2 more minutes, please.
So yeah. So in the tale, I have mentioned that the Kathanar uses an iron nail. The priest uses an iron nail to like tame the Yakshi. So this like in the book Yakshi Sankalpam by V.V. Haridas, he mentions that this is a symbolism. Like Yakshis are deities of the Stone Age, while so she is like shown this piece of iron to ward her off, because Iron Age has more like elite kind of, or elite kind of goddesses. So this is like a trope. So I'll just wind up quickly. So the caste factors, so Yakshi, if we look at any Yakshi tale, we can see that the men who are attacked by Yakshi are mostly upper caste men or Brahmin men. So this is mostly because you can see that in earlier Kerala, there was this men, Brahmin men had habit of like roaming around at night and looking for women from the lower caste households. So Yakshi was also used as a trope to scare away this, like create sense of fear in the men, and also but then there is a counter like aspect to this too, because Yakshis are always shown as like wearing white saris, and so white was a color which was allowed to which was allowed for only upper class women. So in Kerala, upper class women was like inside a specific structure, and they were restricted from many social interactions and so on. So this Yakshi figure was also a figure of like freedom, or that was created in the minds of upper caste men. So, and I also look at the many tales like other Yakshi tales of Kerala, like famous tales such as tale of Kalyangatta Neeli, and so on, and the relation of that tales with this particular tale of Panayannarkavu Yakshi. Yeah, so my thank you.
Okay, Arundhati, I was particularly interested about your field work. Wish we could have more time, but this was a wonderful, wonderful presentation. Okay, like I would like to know more about it from you. Maybe I'll contact you after this. Okay. Can we have our next participant?
I'm presenting and she can go on.
Yeah,
Okay.
hello. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the support. So I am Siddha for presenting my PPT. So can I go straight away to the presentation?
So Amsida, you present that.
Are you there? Okay.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yeah. Go on.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. I am Sweety Ruhel. I am from the Department of Indian Theatre, Panjab University. And this research work is the extension of my PhD thesis. Like one part of I'm working on, this is featuring the gender and the humor thing. I'm working on the humor of the subalterns and how that humor helps them to survive in the society, or maybe maybe guide their presence in the society. So the title of my paper is By, For, Within Unfunny Women, an analysis of marginalized ritual humor. So just to begin with this, I wanted to quote one quotation by Dev Patnaik, who said that a woman's laughter is very humiliating for a man. So which I rephrase in the context of my research paper that says that uh, is women's laughter humiliates a man when it takes place in their absence. This is the whole context of my paper, and I'll be presenting on the behalf of that. So first of all, I wanted to quote Mahadev L. Apte, because he's the anthropological study on humor. Anthropological aspect of humor is very important. So he says that humor is known to all the cultures. However, there is a very famous belief that women are not funny. So to support my argument, I will quote one of the comedy content creator. One of the comedy content creator in a very recent interview said that internet has unanimously decided that women will remain unfunny. So when I was relating two things, so I just landed to the cartoon by Maya Kamar. So in this cartoon, you can see that they're saying the women's place is in the house. However, the house which she meant is the parliament house at the back. But when you see the picture in the very first go, you will find that she means something and she's interpreted as something else. So women in most of the cases are misread. So that's why they are considered mostly unfunny. So with this paper, in this paper, I would shed some light on the state of Haryana, and specifically where women are preferred to be confined within the domestic roles and do not considered for their comedic expressions. Can I have the next slide? So this is the introduction. Basically, the objective is the women performances in Haryana mostly exist as oral traditions and thus remain undocumented. This paper attempts to analyze and document the humor of a wedding ritual, Khodia, and tries to understand the role of it in the Haryanvi society. So for the methodology, basically I did some ethnographical fieldwork, for which I have attended 3 weddings at like different locations in Haryana. I interviewed a few women, and apart from that, I have taken lots of material, archival like magazines material, and some video resources from YouTube. And so for presenting my like the argument, I have taken 5 theoretical theories from different people. So first is humor as a lubricating tool by anthropologist Radcliffe Brown. So Radcliffe Brown says that humor as a tool is used to maintain the social relationship and sustain a social system in the face of structural conflict or competition with each other. So this is the first theory which I'm taking as consideration. Second is the theory of carnivalesque by Mikhail Bakhtin, in which, according to that theory, humor as a phenomena has the rates of subversion, and primarily in the context of carnival performance, where masses use the mockery and explore carnivalesque traits, challenging the hegemonic realms and norms. Carnival for Bakhtin is a space of temporary liberation from societal regulations and authorities, where laughter and subversive performance challenge hegemonic structures and rules. Third is the because I'm a performing arts student, I see this performance from the perspective of a theatre student. So I have taken the performance theory of Richard Schechner, where he calls rituals are the social actions that are result of the social memory encoded like over the period of time among the people. So I'm quoting that also, and the another important aspect in the wedding is the rites of passage, which is a theory given by Arnold van Gijp. He said that rituals like weddings, funerals, initiation that transform people permanently into other roles are called the rites of passage, where you convert to some other role. Like I'm being someone, then after rites of passage, I'll suddenly change my identity. And last, the theory by theory of social drama by Victor Turner, where he says that rituals represent points in the social situations leading to the deconstruction, debate, and reform of social order through the breach of norms opposing the rule, crisis pointing to lack of representation, redressive actions, ice-breaking space, as well as reintegration or schism, the recognition of existing bias. These are the 5 aspects through which I'm looking at the Khodia. So can you go to the next slide? So these are like my research questions, which I have basically I just put some light on these. Like, are women really unfunny? Is first query of this paper. Second thing is, when is the humor of the women's solitary ritual Khodia provides subversion in the patriarchal society, or affirms their belief in the hegemonic structures and equality as the act of disparagement humor. So before, yeah, you can move to the next slide. So basically, before going to the Khodia, you should know like what is Haryana all about. So basically, Haryana, when you talk about Haryana, we always say that doodh dahi ka khana, wo hamara desh Haryana. So like land where you will only find milk and curd as food, that is the Haryana. Like that is how you know Haryana. However, Haryana is a northern state in India. The major economy depends on the agriculture. The gender ratio in the state is 879 women to 1,000 male, which is below the national average of 940. It is considered to be a patriarchal state given its gender ratio, crime against women, and running organizations like Ha Panchayat, who like in the past were found responsible for the honor killings in many of the cases. And importantly, the city of Kurukshetra, the battleground of epic Mahabharata, is also located in the state of Haryana. So can you next slide, please? Okay. So there's a one small picture of Khodia. So because I have less time, so I'll just quickly say. So Khodia is a Khadi Boli slang, which literally means to play. Is a wedding ritual that is enjoyed and performed by women at the groom's house after the procession of Barat. Like once all the men will go out of the space of the house, then women will collaborate, and then they will play Khodia. So this is, you can see there's one picture of Khodia where this woman is playing man, and another woman is playing bride, and she's like completely dressed in the bow. So basically, it is part of a soon. So in Haryanvi, there's a word called soon, which means a good omen for the wedding couple. So this happens as a part of soon, and it is said that it protects them from the evil eye, becomes an esoteric ritual and ancestral deity worship. Like क्योंकि देव मतलब पूर्वजों को भी खुश करना है, that's why we will do this ritual. It's been happening like for many years. So however, it is observed as a leisurely activities for women who would not go to the Barat, because this is happening only within the women, and most of the time women are not allowed inside the Barat in Haryana. It is seen mostly as a man space. So they will hold all the responsibility of taking forward the. So basically, what is it comprises of folk songs, dances, and cross-gendered performance with dialoguing and acting. So basically, in this, I wanted to quote like one small thing. So like most of the literature which I have gone through so far, it's about the folk songs and about the dances of women. But I have not seen even a single book so far. Like if anybody knows, you can suggest me, which talks about the women performance doing acting, dialoguing in the space of rituals. So that's why this ritual becomes very prominent for me, because there women are actually improvising. So in the act of improvisation, the enactment of Khodia takes place in small episodes, which is like bangle ceremony. One woman will become a man, and she will come and offer bangles to the women. She'll take money also. So this is another is basan bowl. So they will just call some women name in the pot, and then they will make fun of it. The third is Patra Pe Bahu, this welcoming the bride. They will properly perform a small skit, like how the bride will enter, how we are going to welcome her. They just do it very properly. And circling, like they'll do the Fera ceremony perfectly in the arena. And then ghee hand on the wall, they'll just do the ending of that now you are like they complete the rites of passage with the gesture of ghee hand on the wall. And the performance ends as soon as one of the Barati will come back from the bride's house. He will be given a laddu, and the performance gets over after that. So this is what the Khodia is about. So I have some videos. If can I have next slide? So that video, which this is one of the houses, one of the. I think video might not play because, yeah, I've sent you 2 videos. Anyone, if you can play. I don't know whether sound is available.
No, there is no audio.
Okay.
You unmute, please, Swam Siddha. Then the audio will play. You have to unmute, yeah, Google Meet.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Am I audible now?
Yes.
Okay.
There's still no audio.
Hello everyone, I'm sorry
Still
for
not audible?
interrupting. There's another way through which you can do
Never
this.
mind.
You have to
See from the gestures that they are actually communicating in Haryanvi, and they are making jokes. they're making lots and lots of jokes about like the intimate relationship between men and women, and one woman is dressed as men. So being a woman, he is defending from the perspective of a man. So the commenting goes like that in the performance of Khodia. So can we move to the slide? Yeah. Can you enlarge? Yeah. So you can see how they interact. Like one more video was there in which it was basically what they do. They'll become proper man. They'll hang a cloth penis or a pipe penis, and they'll grow random women, and they'll laugh and they'll laugh. They'll crack jokes. They're very witty when they are not being judged by the society. So Khodia, there are many like morality phrases or proverbs are very famous in Haryanvi society. Like some of like one is very famous is which says Sulakshmi lugai ghar mein swarg banawe hai aur kulachni lugai nar. So a good charactered woman will make the home as heaven, but ill charactered woman will make the home a hell. So these kind of phrases moves around in the society of Haryana, which indirectly, subconsciously it affects all the women. They wanted in the generic sensibility of Haryana, they wanted to be good women. So that's why. But what happens in Khodia? Khodia happens beyond the notion of hell or heaven. When they are inside their own space, they don't think whether we are making the home a hell or a heaven. It is for the entertainment, fun, and a play where nobody guides them. Formulate rules of morality for them, and they invert all the rules meant for them in the performance with their own representations of the world around them. Women will sing, dance, act, react, characterize the characters. The informal performance happens when all the man leaves the wedding night. They are funny when they are not judged, when no men are there. They crack sexual jokes, utter dialogues full of sarcasm. For example, one like small, there are like lots of sexual connotation in the whole performance of Khodia. One is like, chudi pehn ke hana ghani hilan lag rahi hai lugai. So like it directly connotes to the like this sexual communion in the bed, where women says that why you're moving so much, you should have like, you should enjoy what is happening as a part of the activity. And like other women will answer like, I have very small hands, so give me very small bangles. So with small bangles, like because bangles are something which make noise when you move around. So even that happens in the act of like the sexual act also. So they always want to have small bangles. Like this is the sexual connotation with around jokes of Khodia works. So apart from that, the performance also have the jokes, like satirical jokes. For example, the women will say, have these sweets, oh groom's father, because your words are really bitter. So like in Haryanvi, they'll say that ye lad khao chori ji, thare muh mein ghani kadwa hai. So they'll comment even on the problems of the society or the kind of patriarchal domination which they face, which bride and groom face simultaneously in the society. So women and their jokes, if observed through the ritual of Khodia, can testify for their funniness, wit, and satire. Women remains unfunny because their funny spaces are secluded and located in the corner of patriarchal society. Can I have the next slide? So basically, very quickly, I'll just say that women laughter in Haryana is dates back to the problem generated. It is said that Mahabharata, the war of Mahabharata, started because of the laughter of a woman, Draupadi. So that's why from then onwards, the women's laughter is considered a bit not like appropriate for the society, and it's unnecessary with the generic sensibility of Haryanvi like sensibility. And loud laughter of women considered inappropriate. Moreover, as a morality guide, several proverbs run around this, which says that a woman who is laughing too much, she is going to spoil the family, or like the girls must not laugh loudly. So these are like, for instance, these are a few proverbs in the Haryanvi slang. And yeah, so this is my conclusion. So in the space of the night, they are not followed by any prejudices of the society. Therefore, the satire, mockery, and comedy are produced by themselves in regional dialects without any gender or patriarchal intervention. So we can say that with this carnivalesque quality, the ritual of Khodiya do challenge the hegemony by using humor as a subversion against patriarchy and male dominance by ridiculing and making fun of them. And second is the I also want, contrary to what they are doing, I am also saying that these rituals are not never censored by men, even though they are vulgar and against the moral standard of Haryanvi society. So from the perspective of Radcliffe Brown, who says that it's humor as a lubricating tool. So I wanted to conclude that humor in the Khodiya works as a lubrication in the given patriarchal society and appears as a disparagement humor, and therefore affirms the belief in the male figure which they perform as target in their day-to-day life. So few women are participating and few are not participating, but when you are behaving like us, we have perverted sexual men, few women think that this is normal. So that humor somehow I don't know whether it can be a problem also, but I think that this also helps them to assert the male identity in their subconscious, and that's why the patriarchy continues so far. So, and also in both the cases, whether it's subversive humor or disparagement humor, I wanted to say that women comes out as funny individuals from this performance. Unknowingly they support, unknowingly they resist, but both the cases they remain funny. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sweety. Also, I would like to share my experience with you. Like, I had worked on Bhojpuri wedding songs, okay? And in the Bhojpuri culture also, in the marriage rituals, we have this dome kach, where women enact roles of men, okay? And they challenge this patriarchal structure. So they use humor to subvert it. So a wonderful presentation. But what was I wondering is that, because I had an insider outsider approach, okay, like I do not belong to the Bhojpuri community, so women were not very open, like they became very conscious whenever I switched on the camera. So like, will you share your experience of recording? How was your experience? Like, can you share it with us? And also a great presentation. Okay, thank you for your presentation. Okay.
Sweetie, I think you're on mute. I can't hear you.
She's not mute, but I think the audio is not coming from her part.
Try muting and unmuting
No, it's not
again.
coming.
We can't hear you, Sweety.
You can also switch off the video because of some network issue. It also may happen.
Okay.
Sweetie, yeah. You unmute and speak. Try to speak.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah,
Yes,
you're audible
yes.
now.
So yeah, thank you, ma'am, for asking that. But I wanted to say that I belong to Haryana, and I know these spaces are very they are very. Even for me, it was very difficult to shoot the sexual part in the field work, because they will never allow you to have themselves on camera, irrespective of anything. But what I feel is, because I belong to their dialect, I belong to their state. So whenever I speak with them in their dialect, it makes, made things feasible for me. Like they told me everything. Like they talked about the sexuality of a woman, like of course from their own perspective. That's not a very modernized way of talking about the sexuality, but they discussed everything. आदमी को मतलब what does a man like, why they do the behave like this, why women are mostly on the wrong part of it, and like they discussed everything. So yeah, that's why I said that I will take YouTube videos also, because most of the data they will not allow you because of the kind of privacy this ritual have. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sweetie. Also, you were asking about any book. Have you also gone through this Listen to the Heron's World by Raheja Gold? They talk about these Gari songs in the Rajasthani, I think Western UP context. You can go through that book if you have not already consulted it. Okay. You can
Ma'am,
go
I have
through.
consulted it. It's basically about the folk songs. I wanted to see the performative aspects. I have like read
Yeah.
this Raheja and Gold book,
Yeah.
Listen to Aaron's World.
Yeah.
But I'm looking for something specifically on the performative aspect, like not sing, because
Yes, I
folk
understand.
songs, everything
Yeah.
is
So
being
you can
discussed
also
somewhere.
go through this book, Gender in the Market. This is by Deborah Captain. You can go through that book where she talks about Moroccan women, okay, and their performative aspects of how they are trying to, turn and thwart the patriarchal structure, okay. So this is Gender in the Market or On the Market. I'm just forgetting the title. This is by Deborah Captain. Okay, go through that book, because I have also worked on performance, and I have tried to see performance in social interaction, okay, how bodies interact in Jhumar song performances in the Bhojpuri context. So this was just a suggestion for you. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So, ma'am, as we are running out of time, would you please like to give some comments to the presentation, and we'll have some couple of questions after that.
Yeah, okay. So,
Please.
so I'll just sum it up. Okay, all of you gave a brilliant presentation. Okay, so Shivam highlights the significance of Magahi folk songs, okay, as a cultural repository of reflecting the experience of Magahi women, and Prachi examines Vratakatha in Indian folklore. I think she also conducted fieldwork in the Marwari community. Was it Marwari community? Okay. And then obviously Sweety explores the role of humor in wedding rituals of the Haryanvi community, and how they use humor to dismantle the patriarchal structure. And Arundhathi, she discusses this legend of Yakshi and how they situate themselves in the patriarchal paradigm, and they try to subvert that domination through this expressing themselves openly, their sexuality openly. Okay, so the field is open for questions. Please, if you have any questions, you can ask. Also, I had one question for Shivam. Shivam, are you there?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
So, did you conduct any field work when you were collecting the Magahi folk songs, or was it purely based on this archival materials?
All Maghi songs that I have used for my paper are from the a book named Maghi Lokgit ke Virad Sangrah by Dr. Ramnath Singh. And I didn't do field work because of the time constraint. I am here doing masters, so I didn't get that opportunity.
Okay, thank you
for that.
Oh, thank you, Shivam. Okay. So you can ask questions.
So, would you like me to read the question from the chat box?
Yeah, Meet, you can go ahead with that. Yeah.
So before going into that, like I find all the presentations were really very remarkable. I mean, everything was so superbly presented. Especially going to like I take interest to Shivam's work as like I'm aspiring in ethnomusicology, and also I like the presentation most. I mean, Arundhati A. So her presentation was also like. So I had a question in my mind, like the modern in the modern era. So what we see, like women are more open about their sexuality. They're finding voice. So the earlier folk tales or that was kind of interpreting it through a negative connotation, but I think the urban folklore is kind of promoting this voice. So Yakshi is the femme fatale voice that has been there in the, I mean, especially in Hollywood movies we see that. So like in modern India, where nowadays we see that kind of even movies also promoting that, Like we can also name a few movies that are promoting that women have their voice about their sexuality. So this connotation is kind of transforming. So that is an observation that is yeah, folk considering the urban people, also the all the like common people. So that is how the folk is transforming. That's one of my observation. Thank you so much. And then I will read a question for you, Arundhati. The question is from Sukanya. Arundhati, can we say Panayan? Sorry, I'm Panayana. Okay, Yakshi is similar to Yakshi tales, where really religion forces its power on women so that they can both subjugate women and establish themselves in the area where this folktale is prevalent. So that is the one part of the question, and the second part, yeah, you got it, Arundhati. You can also, yeah, okay. The second part of the question that aren't sorry, I'm I'm not that much fluent in Keralites
Should
words.
I
It,
read it? Or we can ask Sukanya to ask the question herself, if that is okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
Please go
So
ahead.
the character, one of the characters she mentioned is Kadamattaka Kattanad. He's a priest in Kerala. So characters like him, and there is another Brahmin character like Maypadan. I am sure Arundhati knows because he's quite famous in Kerala. Characters like him, they establish their power by diminishing Yakshi. So isn't that a way to promote their religion as well as subjugating women? It has been used as a plot ever since, like since forever. So,
What I've observed is that, like I said, like for taming the like excessive sexual nature of a yakshi, it like if we look at the patriarchal structure itself, we can see that there are different hierarchies within this structure. Like if we take into this priest like Kadamattaka Kathanar and all, we can say that it is usually an alpha male who is capable of like taming this Yakshi. And within the structure also there are like certain hierarchies. And yes, religion is like of course a factor that plays its role in this taming of or the conversion of this like voluptuous yakshi figure into an asexual mother figure. Yeah. So I like to discuss more about this with you.
okay, thank you. As we are running out of time and our next session in just 3 more minutes, so we cannot take any more question. So that's a very direct question from Kriti Acharya. Anita, what is this ritual called in Himachal? So I don't know.
That is a like
Okay,
a shared. We were talking in the chat box, so that is
Previous,
okay.
I'm very sorry.
somebody was
So
asking in the chat. So continuation to the chat is the
You can keep on answering the questions
okay,
on the chat. That is not an issue.
not
okay, you
related to
can
my paper.
keep on answering, and we're just going with the vote of thanks
Yeah,
for
they are
this
just
session.
asking in the chat.
Yeah, you can answer the questions in the chat because the session will be online. All right. So with this, yeah, please, Bhumika, you take.
Thank you.
take.
Like I was overwhelmed with all the papers because it's women representation in so many colors and so many different voices, be it from a very like suppressive manner, also like women taking their power and their voices, and each and every paper discussed certain segment of it and in various colors because it's coming from different regions of the country, but then we see a common thread amongst all the women voices, and be it from humor and the willingness to express themselves and that choice. So it's very overwhelming as a woman as well because you really want women to be seen and heard all the time, be it from cultural domain or from a modernistic perspective. So, and I was very happy that we also had like Shivam. Although you didn't conduct any fieldwork, I wish you do in near future, and I'm pretty sure that will open a lot of avenues because fieldwork in itself kind of creates a very important dialogue, and it brings in life the living traditions that you're studying because these are people at the end of the day. They are not just text. So But still, interesting presentation. Everyone did a great job, and thank you so much to Vidisha ma'am for chairing this wonderful session and for your insights as well.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Lovely presentations. Keep working. Keep going to the field.
Yes, definitely. And yeah, I would appreciate that each and every one of you keeps on writing forward in the work that you've done. I just hope we get to hear more about it in the future as well. Thank you so much.
And to thank the